Callum, congratulations on signing a new 3-year deal here at the Uptonsteel County Ground. But I'm led to believe that there's an extra bit of information to come out from the new deal as well. Can you explain to us what that is?
Yeah, obviously delighted to sign the new deal, and also very honoured and humbled to be named Vice-Captain under Colin Ackermann. Delighted with the news and really pleased with the faith that Sean and Nico and the club have shown in me.
You've obviously been at the club for 4 seasons now, entering your 5th. Is Vice-Captaincy something you've had in your sights for a while, or did it just sort of come out of nowhere?
A little bit out of nowhere. Obviously, we've had quite a changing group over my 4 to 5 years at the club, and we've lost a lot of senior players, especially recently. It's a bit time for me to grow up and take a bit of leadership within the group. And obviously, when I got the news, it was a bit of a shock. But obviously, massively delighted with it, and hope I can contribute in a positive way.
You sort of alluded to it a bit there, that it's a new, young, fresh, exciting group of players here at the Uptonsteel County Ground now. And maybe the decision to make yourself Vice-Captain, one of the younger players, but one of the bigger characters in the dressing room, was something that maybe Colin and Paul were thinking about. Yeah,
definitely. I hope I have qualities that can assist Colin and hopefully help move the club forward. I think there's a real good identity coming with the club at the minute, with the running foxes and kind of a new breed. It's all positive. Sean's been brilliant since he's come in, and I think there's a genuine belief that we can do some special things moving forward.
What does the vice-captaincy role say for yourself? Is it just a case of sort of staying quiet for a year or two, learning from Colin, or would you have more decisions in, let's say, what bowlers to pick for what game, what decisions to make during particular situations or anything?
I think it's just assisting Colin when he needs me. Obviously, he's been superb since he took over the reins as captain. Very calm, collected presence. Quite different from myself. I'm a bit of a hothead and can't keep my mouth shut. So I think we'll work quite well together. And I think it's just, again, like you said, learning from him, picking up the good qualities that he has, and just trying to help him wherever I can.
So as I mentioned earlier, you've obviously been here for 4 years now, going into your 5th season here with Leicestershire. Just going to take you on a little bit of a trip back through your career here and back to your debut against Kent. Wasn't the ideal start by any stretch of the imagination. Darren Stevens dealt with you a little bit there, didn't he? But yeah, as I say, a bit of a steep learning curve for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think I took one for 102, I think. It was quite a difficult experience. I'd only really known kind of, not success, that's probably the wrong word, but I'd played a few games for Derby and a bit naive and just kind of winged it, and it went well, and kind of came here expecting that probably first class cricket was a bit easier than it was, and it was quite a rude awakening really, but something that I look back definitely helped me and shaped me moving forward. And obviously my red ball game is something that I continue to strive to improve. I know it's an area that I'm nowhere near as good as I want to be, but that first game was a tough one.
I'm going to pick out a particular over of that fixture, which I don't think you'll thank me for in the long run, but there was a particular over, as I say, that Stevens actually took you for 16 runs from just 4 balls. What are you thinking at that point on your debut? I
think it's just more kind of disappointment. I'd kind of waited a period to get a go in the side, and I remember Cozzy was in charge at the time, and he brought me on with I think 5 overs left in the day. I thought, this will be all right, like kind of wet my feet a little bit, bowl a couple of tidy overs and then come back tomorrow. But Stevens just took me for 30 and went to bed that night. I was like, how hard's this? And it was a really tough 4 days, but something I look back and think, well, you know what, I'm stronger for the experience.
Obviously a good experience to get with your debut, but straight back down to earth with a trip up to Durham for a twos match, I hear.
Yeah, kind of got to the end of the 4 days, really disappointed, and the head coach at the time then sent me and Lewis Hill. We drove up on the evening about 7 o'clock, got to Durham about midnight, and then played 3 days in a second team game and got beat. So it was a bit of a nightmare week really, but one that I look back and think, well, can only get better.
Yeah, and to be fair, it did get better quite quickly as well, with your T20 debut coming just a month later away at Egbert against Lancashire. A fixture that Foxes fans will obviously remember for the big last ball 6 from Ackermann to win the tie, but obviously you remember it for a different reason. Yeah,
I remember being quite surprised to be picked. I kind of got the nod about an hour before the game. Obviously I was buzzing. Obviously the county where I grew up. I think my brother was in their squad at the time. He didn't play, but But yeah, obviously to get Butler and Livingston, they're two kind of main men at the time. Again, looking back, I was just pretty naive, like didn't really understand much about T20 cricket. Just kind of pegged the ears back and went for it. But yeah, special day, and obviously I was in there with Ackers at the end when he hit the six. So yeah, really special day, and one that I look back with great fondness.
Do you remember the wickets very vividly, or?
I remember most of my wickets. I'm a bit of a badger. I think I got Butler caught long off, Ackermann I think, and Livingston was stumped by Ronke. So yeah, I think one actually turned, so a bit of a rarity back then. But
and obviously when you found out that you was not only in a squad but in the 11 as well, what thoughts are going through your head there, knowing that you're going to make your debut against the likes of, as you say, Josh Butler, Liam Livingston, Dane Villas, Stephen Croft?
Yeah, nerves, but also just excitement. Remember at the time it was a really experienced group. I think we had Clint Mackay, Cozzy was there, Luke Ronke. So it was a lot of people I could lean on, and I think I was 20 at the time, so wasn't really scarred, as they say. I hadn't played too much cricket, so it was just more excitement. I had all my family there, so yeah, it was a really special day.
And also just the perfect way to end your T20 debut anyway, with Ackers hitting that big six to finish the game. Yeah,
it was a hell of a shot. I remember I wasn't meant to go in. I think I went in just for the last ball. Clint Mackay was meant to bat ahead of me, but obviously we need two to win, so he sent me and he was like, Parky, go on, you're a bit younger than me, you might be able to run the two quicker, but obviously we didn't need it. But he's done that a lot, hasn't he? Because he's a jet.
Yeah, and then obviously still in 2017, fast forward another month or so into August, and it's the rematch of Callum Parkinson and Darren Stevens. This time you came out of it a bit better. Yeah,
something I've probably not kicked on from with the bat, especially in red ball cricket. But yeah, it was nice to exact a bit of revenge. I think I put him into the stands at Kent a couple of times. He was a hell of a cricketer, so it was just nice to get a bit of revenge from my debut.
Yeah, obviously posting 75 runs, coming in at number 11 as well, give you that bit of confidence to take away from it, knowing that you can go in that low in the order and do a job?
Yeah, it was certainly something I took confidence from. I never actually saw myself as a number 11. We just had a really weird batting lineup at the time. Everyone could bat. But yeah, it was the first time I'd kind of scored a kind of decent score. And yeah, it was something I took a lot of confidence from, and again, just played with confidence, which I think was the key.
And of course, you were in Steve-O's position only a few months earlier, obviously being hit left, right, centre down the ground. What are you thinking of at that point? Obviously, a bowler traditionally, but obviously you're behind the bat this time, sending in for four runs, so on and so forth. Are you thinking about the bowler at any point, or are you just thinking about your own game and no sympathy at all sort of thing?
Just my own game, really. I remember that game, I think he'd had like 7 for 20 or something off like 20 overs. He hadn't really gone for a run, and we kind of hadn't really played a shot. And I remember saying to the assistant coach at the time, I said, I might just go in and have a dart at him, see what happens. Worst case, like we're all out on my back bowling. So I remember just kind of thinking, I've got nothing really to lose. And then as I got further on, I started trying to play a bit more properly, which was my downfall. I should have just kept swinging. But yeah, it was nice to get a few out the middle.
And then, of course, sort of back to normality for yourself. Obviously, 75 with a bat is great, but then you go on to take your first career 10-foot away at Worcestershire as well. How good a feeling was that?
Amazing feeling. Probably the proudest of my career so far. I think it just gave me belief that I could do it in red ball cricket. Again, something that I'm still looking to build on. So obviously, the area in my game that I want to improve the most. And it was just a really special 4 days. I just kept bowling and bowling and bowling. But yeah, no, I look back with a lot of pride and something that I want to kick on from.
You also got yourself into a pretty incredible position after the first innings, having 8 wickets to your name already. First of all, was anybody else actually bowling in that fixture?
It didn't feel like it. I kept getting 20 minutes off and then going again. But yeah, it didn't really spin that much. It was just more, I think we picked a team with only 3 seamers and me, so we were a bit unbalanced. So that probably contributed to me bowling more than I would have done. And yeah, it just seemed to get into a nice rhythm from one end and kept going. And obviously the second innings, it was lovely to get them 2 and complete it. It's something that I want to add to moving forward.
And of course, I want to talk about the night's sleep before those 2 wickets. Obviously, knowing you got 18 name in a really good position to go on and take 10 throughout the fixture. What was that night's sleep like? Apprehensive?
Probably not. It was probably the best sleep I've had. I've sat there with 8 wickets rather than none for 100. But Yeah, it was a pretty easy sleep. I think we were behind in the game, so in my head I was thinking I've probably not got a chance here. I remember we only led by 20 and I think we were 7 down, but luckily a few of the lads, I think Zach Chappell and Lewis, got some in the second innings that allowed us. I think we still lost, which is obviously a shame, but we were defending 130, which gave me the chance to have another decent bowl. So special 4 days, and one that I can hope I can recreate moving forward.
And before that fixture, you hadn't had a 4-wicket haul, never mind a 5-wicket haul to your name either. And then obviously a lovely caught and bowled chance after Brett Oliveira just looped one up back down the track to you. What's running through your mind there? Not nice, simple, easy chance to claim that.
I wouldn't say any chance for me is simple, but no, as it looped up, I kind of knew I was going to catch it, and then it didn't really dawn on me. I kind of looked up at the scoreboard and saw that I had 5, and I think my brother got his first 5 a couple of weeks before, so nice just to, at that point, try and keep up with him. But no, it was a special feeling, and yeah, one I look back with a lot of pride on.
And obviously you played a lot of cricket between that point and the end of this season, but quite a special moment came for you towards the end of this season as well, the last season that is. Your 50th T20 wicket for Leicestershire. Another caught and bowled chance for Chris Nash. How's that?
Yeah, I did. I knew it was my 50th. I'd kind of had a little look, I think a couple of weeks before, and knew I was getting close. And yeah, again, he hit it back quite hard, so I didn't have much time to think about it. But I think personal milestones are brilliant, and obviously I was delighted to get it. But obviously the main disappointment obviously was a quarter-final in the couple of weeks after. But no, obviously delighted to pick up the personal milestones, and just shows that I'm doing something right in the T20s.
Yeah, obviously you just mentioned the quarter-final fixture against Notts a couple of games later, but obviously we needed to go out in the fixture here at Grace Road. We needed to go out and win, essentially, to have any chance of going to Lancashire and winning and going into the quarter-finals. So you got us off to pretty much the best start we could ask for. 1 for 4 after the first over, I think it was. Yeah,
it was a good start. It was something I was looking to improve, kind of my power play record in terms of taking wickets, because there's obviously nothing better than starting well. But yeah, it was just good to help the team. I think the T20 campaign on a whole and last year was really positive. We've got a young group and we all kind of knew our roles, especially the bowling attack. We've played quite a bit of cricket together now, like the likes of myself. Gav was superb. Davo kind of went from strength to strength, and then obviously Ackers as well. Always know what you're going to get from him. So obviously it was just nice to be part of a kind of a collective bowling group that really seemed to know what we were doing, and hopefully we can contribute to success kind of moving forward.
I'm not sure whether you're aware of this or not, but since the conclusion of the 2020 season, Gavin Griffiths has certainly been singing your praises, in the sense that going out and bowling in the power play and bowling with the figures that you're getting are just incredible. Yeah, as I say, I don't know if you're aware of it, but how nice is that to hear from your fellow teammates? Yeah, lovely.
Obviously, Gav's a good mate of mine, and we've shared a lot of experiences together, and yeah, we've got a great group. I think we've all got total belief in each other. And again, if I can get a bit of praise off my teammates, it just shows I'm doing a good job for the team. And yeah, like I said, we've got such a young group. It is very exciting times moving forward. We've just all got to buy in, and I think we can have a really successful future.
You said there that each player has pretty much total belief in each other when you step over the boundary rope at the beginning of the fixture. I think that really shone through towards the end of the campaign as well. It felt like you was going into the fixtures fearless, maybe making decisions that you perhaps would have not made, or maybe thought twice about in previous years. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're obviously superbly led by Colin. He instilled total faith in everyone. Everyone had total kind of role clarity, knew exactly what their job was. And yeah, I think it's just a case of the group's played together a while now, and we're hopefully going to reap the benefits of that. But yeah, it's just about being fearless, and I think that's what Nico's tried to drive into us, along with Tom Smith, and Sean's been a breath of fresh air, like I said, since he's come in, and has encouraged us that we're going to be backed and we can make mistakes. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, we can keep playing this fearless cricket and go a couple better next year.
Following the wicket of Chris Nash, you took 2 further wickets in the last campaign. Two very special wickets, 2 very similar wickets. Do you want to just talk us through those? Yeah,
I mean, they've got a bit of airtime, haven't they? Yeah, I don't really know. It must have hit a pebble or something. A couple of them must have spun off something. But yeah, obviously nice to show that the work I'm doing away from it, trying to spin the ball more, spin it harder, and obviously nice to bowl a couple of jaffers. Ultimately, I'd obviously preferred to bowl none for 40 and us make finals day, but it wasn't to be. But no, obviously nice feeling, and yeah, enjoyed it at the time.
But also a great scout for you to claim consecutive wickets of such a highly rated T20 batsman in Alex Hales.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. But I think it just goes back to we tried being fearless and we tried not putting. I think in past years we've been fearful of these big names and kind of given them too much respect, let them throw the first punch, and that's something as a group we've really tried to stop. We've realised as we played more and more cricket as a group that we are a half decent cricket team, and hopefully we can compete with these big names, and we don't need to kind of fear them like we maybe have done in the past.
And the wicket in the quarter-final puts you on 52 in terms of the wickets taken by Leicestershire players. 52 on par with your good mate Ben Rain. Privileged position to be in? Yeah,
definitely. Just need one more, don't I, get past him. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I'm not eyeing top spot. It's Claude Henderson, isn't it, at the top? And obviously he's kind of known as a Foxes legend. Had a lot of success when he was at the club, and if I can go past him, obviously nowhere near the bowler he was, but if I can emulate him and go past him, I'd be very proud.
Yeah, we've touched on it a couple of times already, but obviously with the new season looming, on the back of the foundations built, especially in the last season last year, how much should the running Foxes fans expect from the team in 2021?
Oh, it's a tricky question. I think they've got to be excited. We've added well, I've signed the 3 young lads, a lot of contract extensions for the boys, a lot of faith shown, and hopefully we'll reap the rewards of that. It'd be lovely to have the fans back in. We missed them last year, but yeah, I think they should be excited. Hopefully they're going to see a team that's confident and plays attacking cricket.
And of course, as you mentioned there, the ECB, government, first class counties are all working tirelessly together to be able to get fans back into the ground. You just mentioned there how much you did miss them, but did you realise how much you would have missed them?
I don't think at the time, going into the tournament, you were like, oh, it might be a bit easier, there might not be as much pressure, but I think you look at the special moments, you look at Ben Mike's 6 against Yorkshire, you look at the win against Notts here, you look at the 4-day win at New Road against Lancs, even the quarter-final against Notts, a packed Trent Bridge, and they're special moments, and ones that would have been even more special with obviously the Foxes fans in there, so disappointing, but hopefully we can get them back as soon as.
And hopefully, of course, 2021 will bring good things for the club, and obviously on behalf of everyone here at Leicestershire County Cricket Club, congratulations on your new deal and your vice-captaincy role.
Thanks, mate, appreciate that.